All of this conversation around Indiana Fever fans, it's all just misguided over-hatred of Caitlin Clark and pointing the finger at those guys, they're the racists, when really y'all are the racists. It's just a joke. Poke me in my eye, she tells Dejanay Carrington, poke me in my eye, and they just laugh it off.
This is the harsh reality no one in the WNBA or the mainstream media wants to talk about. Racism isn't just a one-way street in this league, it's a deep-rooted problem that is selectively acknowledged, and Caitlin Clark has become its latest victim.
The people coming up with excuses to hate Caitlin Clark and the new fan base that she brought, and justifying, again, as we talked about yesterday, Nike won't even put out a Caitlin Clark commercial, won't put out a Caitlin Clark shoe, because Nike has decided that they must bow to the angry black feminists, the Black Lives Matter movement.
The WNBA, a league that prides itself on inclusion and equality, has allowed racial favoritism, identity politics, and divisive leadership to tarnish its reputation, and today, we're pulling back the curtain. In this video, I'm going to expose the truth about the WNBA's real racism problem. A truth that's been swept under the rug, hidden behind narratives designed to pit players and fans against each other. From corporate favoritism and endorsements to biased media coverage, the truth you're about to hear will make you rethink everything you know about the WNBA.
Yes, Caitlin Clark is the biggest star in sports, but Nike, in order to promote equity and fairness and diversity and inclusion, you must spend all of your money promoting A'ja Wilson, someone most people don't know exists and don't care about.
Caitlin Clark isn't just another player, she's a game changer, someone who could bring the WNBA to new heights. Yet, despite her undeniable talent and impact, Clark has become the subject of constant criticism. Why? Because the narrative surrounding her success doesn't fit the WNBA's agenda. Her fan base has been demonized, her achievements downplayed, and her position in the league marginalized. Clark is undoubtedly marketable. Her fan engagement proves that. But despite being the player who could bring in the most revenue, she's not being treated that way. Instead, the WNBA and corporate sponsors like Nike have focused their attention on promoting other players who fit their preferred image of racial equity and social justice, even if it's at the expense of a clear fan favorite. Take A'ja Wilson, for instance. Wilson is a great player, no doubt, but she doesn't have the same marketability as Clark. Yet, Nike has chosen to put its weight behind Wilson because of what she represents.
Lean into A'ja Wilson, a 6'5" person no one really knows or cares about. And it's not our fault. Tim Duncan, as was pointed out yesterday, great basketball player. No one cared. He didn't sell shoes. Allen Iverson did. Michael Jordan did. Kobe did. LeBron did. Tim Duncan was great. He didn't sell shoes. He wasn't an exciting player. No one cared. They sold shoes with the guys that sell shoes. Caitlin Clark could sell shoes, but no, her fan base is hated. It's the wrong type of fans. They tweet mean things to Alyssa Thomas. This stuff is a joke.
In a fair system, Clark would be the face of the league, but instead, she's been sidelined, not for lack of talent, but because of politics. While Caitlin Clark continues to be ignored despite her undeniable talent and marketability, Angel Reese has risen to fame for all the wrong reasons. It's not Reese's skills on the court that have brought her to the forefront, it's the controversies she stirs up.
But at this point, it's just crystal clear. I haven't spent much time trying to defend Angel Reese. I've spent a tiny bit, but I just can't. Angel Reese is a hater. And her whole media popularity, her whole platform is built off the back of Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is Kunta Clark. She's the actual slave that everybody else is exploiting for their benefit. Angel Reese included at the top of that list. Now Alyssa Thomas jumps in and says, let me get my piece. Dejanay Carrington jumps in, let me get my piece.
This all came to a head during the NCAA championship when Reese taunted Clark, sparking a media frenzy. While some praised Reese for standing up for herself, it was clear that her rise was fueled by her public feud with Clark rather than her own achievements. Meanwhile, Clark, as usual, took the high road. The WNBA has chosen to make Reese a face of the league because her story fits into their larger narrative of racial justice and equity. But in reality, it's Clark who's pulling in the fans and driving the league's engagement. By promoting Reese, the WNBA is not just making a political statement, it's turning its back on the player who could actually elevate the league to new heights. Before we continue with the video and dive deeper into the shocking truth behind the WNBA's decisions, I want to ask for your support. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe and help me get there. Thank you so much. And now, let's get back to it. One of the most shocking incidents of the season was the intentional eye-poking of Caitlin Clark by DJ Carrington during a game.
I want to play you a clip last night. This is how DJ Carrington, as we've talked about earlier this week, in game 1, poked Caitlin Clark in the eye intentionally, in my view, and in most rational people's view. Your hands don't curl up, you jab people in the eye and you pull your hand back immediately after you've accomplished your goal. Nothing happens to DJ Carrington. This isn't really even discussed. She gets questioned about it once. Caitlin Clark gets questioned about it. Caitlin Clark takes the high road. She's not engaging. Hats off to Caitlin Clark. But this is how likely this is taken.
Clark was left with a visible black eye, but what did the league do? Absolutely nothing. No foul was called, no investigation was launched. The WNBA's star player, the one who brings in the most viewers and fan engagement, was left unprotected. The blatant double standard is impossible to ignore. The league's response to Clark being physically injured on the court was silence. Meanwhile, when players like Angel Reese or Carrington face even minor criticism, the WNBA rushes to issue statements and condemnations.
They hit the dagger 3. Now I want to move you to the celebration of the dagger 3 that Mabry had with DJ Carrington. Play the clip. You see that? It's just a joke. Poke me in my eye, she tells DJ Carrington, poke me in my eye, and they just laugh it off. See, Caitlin Clark got poked in the eye and injured, black eye. You can still see the black eye last night. There was no foul called during game 1 when it happened. There was no investigation of whether this was a flagrant act and deserved any type of penalty. Totally ignored. Nothing. Your most important player, the person that's driving all of your engagement. Everybody's making money off Caitlin Clark. She gets gouged in the eye by a player who clearly hates her. We've seen the previous behavior this season. We've seen her tweets, clearly hates her. WNBA, there's no statement being made. Hey, we got to be more careful. We got these ladies with these long fingernails. We can't have this happen. We investigated this. We don't think it's intentional. We do think it's intentional. None of that happened.
The message is clear. Certain players will be protected at all costs, while others, like Clark, will be left to fend for themselves. This isn't just a failure of officiating or player discipline. It's a failure of leadership. Kathy Engelbert, the WNBA commissioner, and Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, have shown time and again that they are more interested in pushing a political agenda than in doing what's right for the game.
And laugh about and mock later. But oh my God, let an Indiana Fever fan tweet anything to any player, and the WNBA is going to release a statement. And Alyssa Thomas and these other girls are going to hold press conferences. Have you seen these tweets? Oh, how hurtful they are.
The WNBA's future is hanging in the balance. The league has a choice to make. Will it continue to be driven by identity politics, racial favoritism, and divisive narratives? Or will it finally stand behind its most talented players and do what's best for the game? Caitlin Clark is the kind of player who could take the WNBA to new heights, but if the league continues to treat her like this, how long will she stick around? How long will fans continue to support a league that is more interested in political optics than in fairness or excellence? The WNBA must make a decision. Will it be a league that celebrates talent, or will it continue to alienate the very players and fans that could help it grow? The path it's on right now is unsustainable, and unless there's a change in leadership and priorities, the league risks losing everything. Before we wrap up, I want to hear from you. Do you think Caitlin Clark is being unfairly targeted because of her race? Or is this just the nature of modern sports? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're enjoying this kind of content, make sure to subscribe. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and your support really means everything. Stay tuned for more honest, no-holds-barred analysis, right here on WNBA Reports.